This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
Welcome back. Now let's see what Kyle and Duane are up to on Plain Talk.
Hi, this is Kyle Bauer with Plain Talk. With the guy who always says a week spent around a campfire will tell you more about a man than a decade spent living next to him, Duane Toews.
Well, for one, you're going to find out just how much body odor the old boy might have.
Okay.
A week in the mountains.
Yeah, a week around the campfire. Good point. Not many campfires have a shower.
Not a lot of showers. You might take a dip in the creek.
Dip in the creek.
I guess in the mountains it'd be a stream.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. That's a regionalism, I understand. Crick? Whether you call it a creek.
Or a creek. Stream.
Or a stream.
Or river.
Well, rivers, that's bigger.
What is in your mind?
I've seen some rivers.
Rivers that weren't as big as my creek.
Yeah, didn't look like...
I call it a creek.
Yeah.
What do you call it?
I grew up with creek.
All right. You're in southern Kansas, so I was in northern Kansas.
I suspect that might have been part of it.
Yeah, it might be. But you're right. I think there's regional differences on those kinds of things. I did in the last year spent not a week around a fire, but I was camping in a very, very dry environment. But it was cooler. And sure enough, while we got there, we got an annual rainfall one night.
Of the area.
The entire annual rainfall of the area that night. And then it snowed 15 inches.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to soften it a little bit.
So my wife has always noticed, and I can't really argue with her, that if you want rain or want inclement weather, just send old Kyle out camping.
Send him out there with a bedroll and a matchstick.
And then, you'll get some rain.
Just wait for it to happen.
In all candor, I can't argue with it much. What she's saying.
Well, where were you a couple of summers ago?
People ought to hire me.
Yeah, you were sitting behind an air conditioner instead of camping
Instead of a rain dancer, they ought to hire Kyle the camper.
Go camping. Your fact or fiction question of the day, speaking of camping, in some Amazon rainforests, there are zombie ants. Fact or fiction?
As compared to ones that dance or
ones that control their own.
Oh, and others just follow the guy in front of them. That's a zombie ant?
No.
I thought all ants followed the guy in front of them.
Something else controlling what they were doing.
Oh, okay. Well, I hate to be disparaging toward ants, but I don't think there's a lot of cranial development there.
Thinking about the size of an ant head?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Kind of looking at what they do, although they do build some very intricate colonies.
Yeah, but that's probably because one old boy's standing over there being the boss.
They got one big-headed ant with a brain. Hey, Bob.
When you get them, when you see a big-headed ant, he's the engineer.
He's the smart one.
I'll go with fact.
It is a fact. There's actually a fungus that infects the brain.
Okay.
Takes over their body.
Well, I'd think they'd just die if that happened. You know what I mean?
It could, I suppose.
It's eventually. Because, there's a lot of animals that get brain infections, people included. And encephalopathy?
Encephalopathy.
Yeah, sure.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah, and I can't correct you, so it's like, I suppose, and there's not many people that do intensive care on ants. I have a question for you.
What's that?
So when you see an insect, let's just say you're walking into your house, you see a bug walking across the sidewalk.
Okay.
Just an ordinary bug, maybe an ant.
Right.
Do you look to avoid him or step on him?
He probably would lean to the category of I don't pay a lot of attention. I don't go out of my way to step on it.
Okay, you don't go out of your way to step on it. I don't go out of my way
to step on it. I don't.
But you don't go out of your way to
miss it either.
But you don't go out of your way to step on it.
No.
Was there a time in your life you went out of the way to step on it? Were you never a 7-year-old boy?
I was probably more likely to not step on it, but to capture it and then do less than humanistic things to it.
Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Jamie Bloom, and I hope you enjoyed today's show. See you next week on Farm Factor.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.